Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a really cool video for you guys to think about today that I made. That I'm kind of been thinking about this a lot all night. I've been sitting here thinking about this and reminiscing about things that I've seen in the past. And I'm like, man, it is getting ridiculous. Everything virtual. Virtual Nikes, virtual Bitcoin, virtual cryptos, virtual land on video games and stuff, and none of this stuff has any physical value. I was like, man, I need to sell virtual gold, virtual silver. Maybe I could get like $1,000 an ounce. I mean, people are just insane out there with what they're buying right now. We're going to talk a little bit about what I think is going to ultimately happen when all this virtual kind of collapses. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I had a comment earlier today. Again, I see a ton of comments from Bitcoin people, and everybody wants to, call Bitcoin generational wealth. It hasn't been around long enough to meet that category. I mean, when you really think about it, how long has Bitcoin really been around versus gold and silver? A fraction of the time. We've seen Bitcoin skyrocket and collapse multiple times. We're seeing Bitcoin down from 109,000 down to 94,000. I mean, people are not really thinking what's going on. They're just getting into the hype right now. They've been hearing more and more people wanting to do Bitcoin, so people hear it, they want to get into it. I don't know how many people ask me, hey, I don't really understand crypto, I want to kind of get into it. It is ridiculous. People are not really fully seeing what's going to happen when it all collapses. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. If you guys enjoy the video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button to help me out. And if you're tired of hearing about Bitcoin, I apologize. It's just such a hot topic right now that even the Bitcoin people are going to precious metals channels just to put their comments in. And I don't mind. I really don't, because even a negative comment it helps the channel. But it's funny because these people are so in the dark. Now, I've said time and time again, if you've got precious metals and you've got security and you've got food and water, then if you want to gamble, I mean, it's no different than going to a casino. It's no different than buying some lottery tickets. They can say it's wealth, but at the end of the day, it's thin air. You're literally buying nothing. And I don't know if you guys have ever played video games. I used to be kind of big into video games. I still play some. And when you quit playing the game, people just, at some point, they're obsessed. And I was obsessed with a World of Tank game that I played. I had to have the awesomest tank, and I started putting money in. And I was working for the refineries. I was an oil electrical inspector, so I worked for the oil companies when they were building the platforms, and I was putting money in every night. I was away from home. I remember telling myself, who cares? You throw $100 in it and have fun. Does it really matter? And one day I was sitting there, and saw this email on my phone. And I was like, what the heck's that? I don't use that email address. And it was the one that was associated with the phone, because a lot of phones, they have a Gmail account associated with them that they set up if you don't, give them your actual official email. And so they had set one up on my phone, and it was there, and it was collecting all these receipts. And so I clicked on it, and I looked, and I was combing through, and it was, you spent $100. You spent $100. Receipt for $50. Receipt for $75. Receipt for $20. Receipt for $100. Receipt for $100. Receipt for $100. And I was like, what in the world? And I sat down and I added them all up. And I was like, what in the world? For a game that I don't even play anymore. It made me sick. I mean, it really did. And back then, precious metals were even cheaper. Silver was only $16, $17. Gold was something like $1,000. And I'm like, You could have bought in like 2 or 3 ounces of gold with that, because it does add up. And at the end of the day, this virtual, I believe, is going to collapse. I believe that the cryptocurrencies are going to collapse, because the truth of it is the technology is what is the key. And what I mean by that is, once they have the technology, which they already have now, to make more and more cryptos, that's why we're seeing everybody's making a crypto now. I mean, there's crypto coins for you name it, there's a crypto coin out there. I actually talked to someone one day about making, for those of you guys that have followed the channel for a long time, you remember back when we used the T-Square points. And it was on the live streams. And the longer you're watching live streams, you could accumulate T-Square points. And it was part of the OBS Streamlabs system that it would accumulate them. And it would log you in an account, and you could gamble your points in the casino. You could do different stuff with them. You could get in special giveaways where if you were willing to get rid of 100 points, you could have a shot at winning something. And I've seen a couple other channels do that type of stuff. But at one point, I was talking to someone about possibly making a real crypto that was called T-Square coin. And it was kind of funny. We joked about it and stuff, but I was like, man, it could be done. Everybody's doing cryptos now. They pump them up and then they just dump them. Now, let's be honest. I understand Bitcoin is not a pump and dump. But at the end of the day, it's the technology that's important. And here's the thing. Any of these crypto coins can be copied, renamed, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, there's another one out there. Now, will it have the fame, the popularity, the notability that Bitcoin has? Probably not. But at some point, people are going to say, why are we paying all this money for it? There's nothing physical. I know people like to say, oh, it's the proof of work. It's like when you write a receipt. You can't get the ink back off the paper. The receipt is written. Is the ink still have value? No. That's it. It's gone. I mean, maybe the paper, because it's physical, you could recycle it into, I don't know, something else. Maybe use it as toilet paper. But at the end of the day, that's not the same thing with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, because it's 100% virtual. There is nothing physical about it. It's gone. But people are putting it in. Here's the biggest thing that I see wrong with all this that a lot of people aren't even talking about. The younger generation now, we used to invest in stocks. Everybody wanted to be a stock trader, a broker, day trader. Now it's all cryptocurrencies. I was reading a comment. It said it seems like 90% of the crypto is just moving back and forth every day amongst each other. And there's a lot of truth to that, because everybody's a day trader now. And it's easy to be a day trader when everything's going up or when everything's doing good. And what do? Maybe they buy it at 94,000, they sell it at 95,000, and they make $1,000, and they maybe pull out some when they need it, or maybe they'll just buy a little bit more later. But at least, here's the thing, back when people were doing stocks, I mean, do I think the stock market is overrated right now? Yeah, I think that is overrated too. I think it's overvalued. And you've got corporations that are buying back most of their shares, which is driving the price even higher, because less of the shares are going back out to the public. And as we see that happening, more and more of the youth getting away from stocks and going into cryptos, I think it's going to devastate a large portion of the younger generation. And what it's doing is it's putting the stocks, the big companies, in the hands of the wealthier and wealthier. And when it all goes kaput, and it will eventually, there's not going to be anything left. The buildings and stuff, at least with stocks, they own the building. But how many people are actually doing stocks when it comes to younger people? I'm hearing more and more younger people want to get into crypto, or they already are into crypto. and they don't believe in the stocks. The stocks are for the old people, and they already own so much of it, and they bought in early. But this is your chance to buy into, I don't know, Pizza Coin. You know, we've been down this road before with the whole dot-coms. How many of them dot-coms survived the dot-com bubble? I mean, yeah, there was a few that were notable. You know, Amazon.com, Google.com. You know, some of these made it through the big dot-com boom and came out the sole winners. And some of these cryptos will make it, but the majority of them won't. Just like the majority of the dot-coms did not make it. They never had a use for Pizza Coin and www.pizza.com and all these random things. So once you're looking into investing, you have to understand what generational wealth is. Gold and silver has been around from the beginning of time. It's physical. You hold it. You own it. It's used in industrial demand, which means people need silver. It's not a hype. Even if a lot of the collectors or the stackers out there quit buying it tomorrow, we all decided, you know what, we can force the price down if we all stop buying. I mean, to a certain point, maybe the price might come down a little bit, but if all of a sudden they find another technological use for silver, it's going to just throw it even higher. And the truth of the matter is, when you look at these other countries like India, China, they're not just stockpiling precious metals. They're stockpiling a lot of different stuff. They understand this stuff has value. They are preparing for something big. That's why they're buying so much stuff. It could also just be they figure anything is better than paper, and so they're dumping their paper currencies onto the market and letting people just, you know, oh, hey, I made more money this month, I'm going to put it in my savings account. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people will save currency, fiat currency. You know, they don't understand that the fiat currency is losing value faster and faster. This is not going to end well. And once people realize that, you can start planning for what to do about it. Because the first thing you have to admit is there's a problem. Once you realize that this is a problem, then you can work on a solution. So until next time, kind of a quick video, not going to drag it out too long. I just kind of wanted to talk about that today because the virtual stuff is just, it's everywhere. I even did virtual cards for a while. I thought that was crazy, but I still got them. Virtual football cards, virtual basketball cards. They just sit on a computer somewhere until someone loses access to their wallet, and then they're gone forever. So with that being said, I thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, and let me know, would you buy some virtual gold? With that being said, take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.